And it's not about MS anymore. It's about just working out in this community and being a part of the community. And you can go there, you come to MS Forward and everybody gets it. You can talk to everybody about it. But that's, I think, my spin, if you will, on my disease has changed to a more positive thing, just because I've been able to be a part of MS Forward Gym. And it's not just a gym, I just can't say it enough, it's a community. It's really a community.
It's murder, go crazy, berserker.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the historic Milwaukee Mile for tonight's SimPossible Racing League Split Series, and we got round number 2 of the K&N cars here at this very old racetrack from 1899. It was actually built, so quite old. It's the only racetrack I believe we go to that is from the 1800s, obviously, because really most of them aren't from then. But either way, we have something for you tonight. I love this track. It's a really cool facility, very historic, known for a lot of IndyCar, a lot of stock cars. Unfortunately, not used too much nowadays, but either way, it's very flat, very different than most racetracks. But you see Kyle Zimmer on the racetrack right now. But I'm Cameron Rich, and we have a new guest in the booth tonight with Kevin Ballmer and Carlos Acosta manning those cameras as always. So welcome, Kevin. And I have to ask you, if you've ran this track at all, what really is the key to getting around here as fast as possible? What's going to be what these drivers are going to be looking for tonight?
Well, first of all, I'm glad to be here, glad to help out as much as I can. Just kind of got the call. I'm just happy to help out. Be honest, I have not ran this track in a while. I believe I ran here with the Indy cars maybe a year and a half ago. Just really flat.
I think we've lost Kevin's connection temporarily, so either way, a bit of a late start tonight, so we do apologize for that for all of you watching the stream right now, but we have concluded qualifying. We are on the grid right now, so we're going to go ahead and get you the results real quickly right here. Kevin Paskowicz in that number 7 machine, that X-side Jeff Bodine looking machine, is your pole sitter tonight. AJ Digby is going to be rolling off in the outside pole position in the number 14, and starting in the that would be the 3rd spot. Kyle Zimmer, last season's truck champion, rolling off in 3rd, and Chris Roberge starting in 4th. Alan Caper is going to be rolling off in the 5th spot. Nate Catilla rolling off in the 6th spot next to him. Fernando Mato is going to roll off in 7th. Johnny Berardi in 8th, and he was the last of the actual qualifiers tonight. The last 3 in the field tonight: Travis Zudema, Billy Wise, and Brian Lowhead, the perennial non-qualifier himself. So bit of a short field tonight, 11 cars here, but either way, we only have 130 laps of this racetrack, this 1 mile facility. So 130 lap race should go by fairly quickly. This track does tend to go green. It is one of the older tracks on the surface, and it really can really hard to get those cautions to come by. But gonna set to get going here real quick. You see that rough pace car right in the middle of your screen, right to the left of it a little bit, is rolling off right now. So 1 pace lap here, and these drivers will get going here. But 2 weeks ago, we did see these cars at the Daytona International Speedway, the big 2.5 mile super speedway, a bit different than this racetrack. Of course, one that has banking. It's a lot bigger and a lot different style of racing than we're going to see tonight. Very flat here. You have to use a lot of brake and a lot of throttle to get that car to turn in the center of these very flat corners, and probably see some shifting tonight. Really, with these cars, you can shift at a lot of racetracks. So we'll see what the drivers choose to do as the race progresses. I have to think that at least when the tires wear and the tires wear and they start losing a little bit of grip, they'll start shifting a little bit. But either way, that pace car makes that hard left turn onto the pit road. See, the green flag is out. Kevin Paskowicz gets a pretty good restart and is able to hold the lead on the bottom side. Right now, he holds off AJ Digby just a little bit, and I believe he has cleared him by just a fender. No, he's not. Here comes Digby back on the outside. Huge run off turn number 2, and he's going to take the lead down the backstretch. So a great run through turns 1 and 2 for that 14 machine, showing some early speed here. We'll see if that number 25 of Kyle Zimmer can make a move on Paskowicz. Paskowicz actually goes a little bit higher in 3 and 4. I don't think it worked out for him, and he's going to lose second to Zimmer. But Zimmer is looking for the lead as well, but we'll see if he can hold off that number 7. Looks like the high side is pretty good through 1 and 2, at least right now. Here comes Zimmer on Digby, though, but he's running that extreme low side right next to that curve, which is the preferred groove move here, and I believe he's going to take the lead. So yes, he does move Kyle Zimmer to the lead right now. He started in 3rd position, already up to the lead on lap number 2, so showing a lot of strength here early on in this race, Kevin. I don't believe we've got Kevin back yet from his issues, so we'll just keep going here and let him get his stuff sorted out. A lot of racing here at the front, single file for the time being. You're going to see that on the track like this. Ooh, AJ Dickey almost got the wall there. He got very close off turn number 2, and he's going to be under fire from Kevin Paskowicz into 3. Very close there. Kevin Paskowicz actually gets touched from behind by Alan Capers, and he's going sliding through the infield grass. You see on board with him right now. Didn't hit anything, but is going to lose all of his track position and go into the last place spot. But I believe that was started because he lost a lot of momentum, almost sliding up into that number 14, actually Digby also got loose there off turn number 4 and wrecked, I believe, as well, because he is in 9th and Paskowicz is 11th out of 11 cars right now. So Digby having some problems as well. I don't believe he got any damage, but definitely both of those cars have lost a lot of track position. Excuse me, Digby does have damage. He has a lot of damage on that front end, and we can get a shot of that. The front end is quite well used up, so definitely something he's going to want to come in and fix. Take one of those fast repairs. They do have 4 tonight in the SimPossible Racing League, so definitely not the start he wanted to get, but either way, early caution here at Milwaukee, lap number 5. So we'll see if this becomes. We'll see if that becomes a theme for tonight. A couple of pit stops underway here, and looks like AJ was able to get his car fixed up. Both Kevin Paskowicz and Nate Cotillo looked to come down pit road. I don't believe Kevin Paskowicz had any damage on that car. He just went for a little bit of a slide through the grass, but either way, get some fresh tires on the machine and get it going again and see what we can do under this caution. Those pace car lights are off on that rough pace car, so you know, double little negative or double speak right there from me. So obviously the pace car has the pace car lights, but we're about to get going green here in just a moment. Pretty quick caution there, so good to see that here at this racetrack. Alan Capers is your new 2nd place driver from after that incident involving Digby and Paskowicz. So your leader on the restart will be that number 25 there, Kyle Zimmer, that Ally GameStop machine, the purple and white. I gotta say, I'm a little bit of a fan of that because purple is my favorite color, so bit of a I'm a bit biased there, but either way, the pace car is going to be pulling off here in just a moment. You see that very hard left it has to pull onto the pit road. That pit road is on the straightaway, unlike most racetracks, but we are green here. Kyle Zimmer gets a pretty good restart, but so does Alan Capers. He actually nudges ahead of Zimmer going into turn 1 a little bit. Ooh, a little bit of almost some contact there. Capers ran that line right down into Zimmer's door, but no contact. He's able to keep that position, but he's under fire from that number 98 of Chris Burge, that Bill Elliott Viper-looking machine. Very cool car to see that again. I remember seeing that when I was a kid. So, ooh, so sideways through turn number 4, and I believe he might have lost it. Not quite yet, but he did make contact with number 17 of Fernando Matos, but we are still green here at Milwaukee. Very good job on both of those drivers' parts to save that car. It is not easy to save these cars. They don't have all the aerodynamic shark fins and all that stuff to keep these stuck to the ground like the Cup cars and trucks and Xfinity cars do. So very good job on doing that, but that does move Alan Capers back up to 2nd. And right there, you see Travis Zudema in that Miller High Life machine. He has moved up to 3rd. He started in the 9th position, so he is your biggest mover of the field so far, I believe. Actually, Billy Wise, last race's winner at Daytona, has moved up the same amount of position. So good to see those two drivers able to make the moves and get up through the field. Looks like Zudema is getting a little bit racy with Alan Capers, might be a little bit quicker, and I believe he might be on pace with that number 25. Good run through turn number 4. We're on board with him right now. It's a great run through turn 4 to challenge Alan Capers. I believe he's going to take it very easily into turn 1. You see right there Alan Capers from the rear of Zudema's car, so he has taken that second position to see if he can run down that number 25. Not that far in front of him, about a second, the gap to the leader. So there's AJ Digby coming back through the field, working on Billy Wise for the 4th spot. So good to see him have some speed again. We don't have that many cars in the field, like we said, only 11 cars tonight, so it's going to be quite easy to gain spots and lose them for that matter. But a bit of a hornet's nest back here. That's Kevin Paskovich leading about 5 or so cars, all the way back to the number 4 of Nate Matilla and Brian Lowhead. So they are racing for the last few spots on the racetrack, minus the number 9 nap Johnny Berardi, who we see right here having some issues. I believe he looks like he's very slow off 4 coming into pit road. I'm not sure what happened to him, but either way, the car is off pace and he is pulling down the pits. Maybe to call it night, we'll have to wait and see. But back here, that is Billy Wise there behind that is not Billy Wise. That is Billy Wise right there. That's Billy Wise. He's behind the 14 of AJ Digby, who was involved in the first caution, getting his position back. And Billy Wise, having a pretty good run. We told you that he started in the 10th position, up to 5th. He was up to 4th, but got passed by Digby. And we did hear from a lot of these drivers last race that they were not too sure about this racetrack, this Milwaukee Mile, because a lot of them haven't ran it before, so that might be telling of the short field tonight. A lot of these drivers just really not knowing what to expect, but it looks like everybody is doing quite well with it so far. The lead up at the front, you're not missing much. Kyle Zimmer has extended to about 1.3 seconds over Travis Zudema. Excuse me, as I just say that, it's down to 1 second. So it's like the times are flipping back and forth a little bit between those two drivers. Travis Zudema was 0.2 quicker that last lap, so we'll see if he is able to do anything. We'll have to wait. We'll have to go on board with him and see if he's shifting. I don't believe he is. So maybe Kyle Zimmer might be, or someone else, but definitely something to watch for. On that note, neither of those drivers are shifting, so it's very interesting. As something I remember doing this in the official series was very, very prevalent was shifting at this racetrack, and really with this car, it's almost like you can shift it anywhere, which is kind of ridiculous. But either way, that's what we have. So here's Billy Wise, who just got passed by Kevin Paskovich, who we saw involved in that first caution. These drivers are about 6 seconds behind the leader, Kyle Zimmer, right now, so they do have quite a bit of ground to make up, but it is easy to make ground up here because of the amount of off throttle and braking you have. So if you can really save your tires and just get the grip down, it can really help a little bit. And it's interesting, you see on your screen right there, Kevin Paskovich running right above that kind of seam or that patch of asphalt in the corner. So he's not running right around the bottom like you see Billy Wise there. Actually, he's very high in the racetrack right there. I'm not sure if he missed his corner or that's just where he's running, but really you would think you would have run right next to that inside curve, that yellow curb, to make the shortest way around, but Kevin Paskovich obviously saying that he does not want to run down there. He's doing pretty well there, and I do hear that car. You can hear the. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that from the perspective, but that number 7 is indeed shifting. So if we can get on board with him, you'll hear it. He's dropping down a gear in the middle of the corner. So you see very different approaches to running this racetrack tonight, and obviously, it's not set in stone which one is quicker, because obviously Kyle Zimmer is about 7 seconds ahead up the road, and he is not shifting, but this number 7 is. So it will definitely have to be seen later on this race to see which one of those does kind of win out. But here at the front again, we see Kyle Zimmer running the same line as Travis Zudema was, about a lane up the racetrack, not really running in that asphalt seam, kind of just running right above the straddling it per se. But Travis Zudema is indeed catching Kyle Zimmer. He was about a tenth and a half quicker than Zimmer last lap. Zimmer looks like he's pushing it quite hard, getting very close off the corner. So we'll see if Zudema can make the move here in just a few laps, but he definitely is a little bit quicker now. He is running very close to that bottom of the racetrack, just able to kind of straddle that curb on the bottom, as opposed to what Kyle Zimmer is doing, who's straddling that seam that Zudema is running in. So you can very well see the different approaches to running this racetrack. I believe Kyle Zimmer kind of noticing that, as he did just move his line down a little bit in the corner. We have a slow car ahead of the leader. That's Johnny Berardi, who we saw have some issues earlier, already 2 laps down. Probably not taken to this track very well tonight, but is still out there and making laps, so that is definitely good to see. But he is just a few seconds ahead of our leader, Kyle Zimmer, right now. We'll see if we have Kevin back. Kevin, if you are back.
Hey there. Oh yeah. Trying to have a few struggles over here tonight so far. I think I finally got it working, but we'll see. We'll see how long I last.
All right. Well, we do have Kevin back, so we'll have him get situated just a little bit, see if he got everything kind of fixed up and everything. We do have battle for the lead here. Travis Zudema has caught Kyle Zimmer, like we were talking about. Very quick, that number 90 car in the early stages of the race. These two drivers have about a 5-second lead over the third place Alan Capers. So setting a torrid pace right now. I believe that low line Zudema is running compared to the high line of Zimmer is going to help him a little bit. They're passing the number 99 right now of Berardi. See Zudema move down a little bit to give Zimmer the lane into turn number 1. Ooh, almost got that inside wall. That's a very tough place to be. And very good racing here for the lead, but definitely a good heads-up move by Zudema to give Zimmer some room so he didn't smash in the back of that number 99. So a good little piece of driving there for both of these drivers. But either way, pretty good racing right here, Kevin, if you're able to see it.
Yeah, now that I'm finally back, it looks like we got a 2-horse show going on right now, but these two up front seem to be battling really respectfully and seem to be putting on a good show for everybody watching right now.
Yeah, this is the best battle on the track right now. There's really not too much else to speak of because the field is quite spread out in this stage of the race. About lap 25 we're working right now, so really these two drivers putting on a very fast pace. They are gapping the third place car by a few tenths a lap, so very fast, these two up here at the front.
Yeah, as this race wears on with the green flag laps after that first caution, or I think it might have been actually the second caution, these guys seem to have a better handle on the car as the tires start to wear down a little bit. Clearly they're putting on a lot of time on the rest of the field so far, as we see the 90 get by the 25 right now.
Yeah, he was able to hook that inside line through 1 and 2 and get around the 25 of Zimmer, and he's actually pulling away by a little bit. That number 90 car is fast right now, very fast. We're talking about how he was a couple tenths faster than Zimmer a little bit, and you can just see the gap expanding right now. It really putting on a good pace. He might have saved his tires in that first part of the run because he is just so quick. You see Zimmer, he is kind of using his stuff up a little bit, trying to catch the 90 again, getting very close off turn 2, but just not able to do anything just yet.
Yeah, you're right there, Cam. I think the 90 car there of Zudema seems to be saving the tires for the first part of that run. I didn't really get to notice to see what he was doing in the first part of the run, trying to get over my struggles on my own side. You know if he was running about a lane up, like on the edge of that seam, or was he actually hooking the bottom the whole time?
I've seen that number 90 kind of not really deviate too far from the bottom, while other cars have kind of straddled that seam a little bit. We'll see what kind of line he runs here in turn 3. Yeah, he's really just trying to hook that bottom as much as he can. I believe Zimmer has noticed that he's not running that higher line anymore. He's really just trying to run that bottom. And you see that Zimmer really has been able to not let that number 90 get away too far. You see that. That's Kevin Paskowicz in the 4th spot, getting a little bit loose there to turns 3 and 4. That's something you do get here a lot just because of how flat it is. But back up at the front, Kyle Zimmer has not let that 90 car get away too much, so I think he has noticed what Zudema is doing, and he's kind of emulating it. Actually, he's able to catch him a little bit, so we might have another battle for the lead here in just a moment.
Yeah, it seems like we actually have a few more battles starting to progress here towards the back as well. Everybody seems to be at least a few grooves up from the bottom. I don't think anybody else is holding that bottom line, but as those two pull away, I know we have about 3 cars starting to bunch up. Looks like a battle for 4th and 5th might be heating up. Oh, the lead.
Yeah, we have a battle for the lead, Bruin. Again, Kyle Zimmer was able to get a nose on that number 90 and see if he did take Travis's line away through turns 3 and 4. So he does take the lead, and like we were saying, he kind of saw what Travis was doing, and that's the sign of a very adaptable driver in Kyle Zimmer. Of course, we know he's good. He is last season's Truck Series champion, but here comes Travis Zudema again with the crossover off turn number 2, gets his nose under Kyle Zimmer again. So very good racing here at the front. These two drivers are crossing each other over lap after lap, and really it's a pretty exciting watch at this point.
It is. It's very exciting. You would think the guy up front with the clean air would do a little bit better, be able to hold that line a little bit better than the one behind. I'm not sure if the guy up front's just getting a little bit too antsy right now and missing the corners, or what is going on, but it seems to be like the past few laps that they're trading spots.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because this is a rhythm racetrack. It's sort of like a road course, just because it's very flat and very technical. But you really, you really need to hit your marks really precisely just to get the best lap time out of each and every lap. And to see Travis Zudema extend his lead over Zimmer by just a bit, about 5/10 of a second right now, 6/10, excuse me. But here's Kevin Paskowicz working on Alan Capers a little bit. 2 purple-ish cars. Kevin has a little bit purple in his car, and Alan Capers is a purple car with green on it. And Kevin Paskowicz gets his nose under Capers, so see if he can make the move through turns 1 and 2 right now. And I do believe he might have the run off turn number 2, and yes, he does. So move that number 7 back up to the 3rd spot. That is a few spots back from where he started. He was your pole sitter, of course. There's Christopher Burge on the racetrack right now. I love that car. I can't stress how much I love that car. It's such a cool looking car. He's right behind Billy Wise. So both of these drivers have dropped a few spots from where they were laps or at the restart, because Christopher Burge was 3rd and Billy Wise was 4th, and they are running 7th and 8th respectively. But either way, this is the early part of the stage. We're only 34 laps into a 130 lap race, so about just under 100 laps to go here.
A long way to go. A lot of time for these drivers that may not be up front right now to kind of figure out what they need to do to adjust for later on in the race to keep up with these 2 up front.
And definitely one thing we have to start thinking about with the race looking like the way it is. See Christopher able to get under Billy Wise there, so he wants to take that 7th position away, and he does through turns 1 and 2. But with this race looking green, you really have to start thinking about pit stops, because we are going to have to pit at least once in this race for fuel. I believe the fuel run with these cars is probably going to be around 80 laps or so. So that's something that these drivers are definitely going to have to worry about. Chris Burge getting very high off turn number 4, but able to keep the spot from Billy Wise. But this pit road is very challenging. It's a pit road like none other that we go to on any track in iRacing or any track, in any race racing series. The pit entry is on the front stretch. You really have to make a really sharp left-hand turn to get onto it, and it just is something that can really, if you get it wrong, you've stuck yourself into that pit wall and your day is done. So these drivers are definitely have to worry about doing that, and of course just getting their pit stop timed right and all that stuff. So really, with the way it's looking like it's going to have to be green flag pit stops here.
Yeah, under the green flag, if you are having to pit, drivers are going to have to be really careful to make sure that they're watching their speed down pit road. I know that kind of tends to be an issue for at least some of the drivers on the series. Just making sure that they're staying under the pit road speed limit and hitting their boxes is going to be huge, especially under a green flag stop.
Absolutely. So we're a little bit spread out here. I believe the best battle on the track right now is between looks like it's between Alan Capers and Digby.
It looks like Digby's starting to catch on Capers just a little bit each lap. Digby seems to be going with a higher line, or a higher entry through the corners, kind of really diamonding out, but just kind of coming in through the corners higher, and then about mid-corner, the start of 2 and the start of 4, he dives down, it looks like.
Yeah, no, really, AJ Digby is someone that is always, it looks like he has the good run on Capers, actually going to go around the outside, so it is the hard way to go around here at Milwaukee. See if he can make the move stick into 3, and I believe he might. A little bit up the racetrack, here comes Alan Capers back to defend, but I believe that Digby will have a run off 4, and indeed, no, he does not. Actually, Alan Capers got a very good run through 4, and was able to keep the spot, but Digby has a line through 1 and 2. That outside line is able to make moves, and we'll see if he can do anything with it. But either way, a little bit loose off 2. Saw that rear end wiggle a little bit, but he was able to get a good run and gap the 13 by a little bit. So here's the 13 and the 14 going at it for the 4th and 5th spot. But good racing between these two.
Yeah, good side-by-side racing. It looks like AJ's having a little bit of trouble trying to hold that car down a little bit, or if he's just giving room to the 13 in case he slides up. I'm not really sure. Obviously, as this run progresses, it's going to be a little bit more tiring to try to hold that car to the bottom of the track.
Yeah, and he's had enough of that high side. He's decided to go low on Alan Capers, but not able to do anything with it yet. So Alan Capers doing a very good job to hold that 14 off, whatever line he's running.
Yeah, great battle so far. It looks like 14 seems to be the quicker car right now, but good job on the 13 to hold him back.
Yeah, AJ was able to get the run off 4 and kind of gap the 13 a little bit, so move him up to the 4th spot. This is something we've seen with AJ a little bit throughout the season, really all last year and even through this season, both on the truck side and in this really in the B car and in the trucks and the K&N cars. It's just something that he has a tendency to kind of, he's very quick on short runs, but he loses time on long runs until he figures out what he's doing wrong, and then he finally, or he kind of gets his speed back a little bit. I think that's what we're seeing. He's kind of figuring out what he's doing wrong, and obviously he was able to get around Capers there and see if he can run Pasquich down. He's about 3 seconds up the road right now, and at Milwaukee, that's not a too daunting task to run 3 seconds down if you're able to get your car hooked up and get those rear tires, not spinning off the corner and really just able to do the lines right.
Right, yeah. Me, actually coming from the background that I have, known AJ for a long time, and I think you've hit that exactly right with him. He seems to just having that inside vantage point on it, definitely something that's really good to adapt and adjust to the style of racing that he's currently in. So I think we'll see as the race progresses, we'll see AJ adapt and maybe see him at the front of the field towards the end of the race. Like right now, the 90 is still holding on to that about a second lead in front of Zimmer.
Yeah, and of course adaptability is key in a series like this. Of course, we run trucks and K&N cars. They swap over each and every week, so you really need to be on top of what you're doing each week. Really, from someone who races myself, those two cars, as much as they are similar, they're also very different. So you really need to just kind of it's not something you're going to be able to just kind of ever get a hold of just because you're going to be swapping cars each and every week. And really, the K&N cars are, if you look at the schedule, it really is, the K&N cars are more about short tracks and road courses, and the trucks are about kind of the bigger tracks like Texas and Atlanta and stuff like that. So see some pit stops here. There's Kevin Pasquich coming down pit road. He was in, I believe, the 3rd position.
Let's see if this starts a trend of green flag stops from everybody up front.
Yeah, it's definitely a thought to think of it. Might show that our fuel run is about 90 laps because that is how many laps we have to go. Excuse me, no, that is completely wrong. I don't know math. I don't know math. That's the thing we have up here in the booth. We just don't know numbers, but about 70 laps to go, excuse me. So that might be our fuel run, about 70 laps. We saw Kevin Pasquich probably come down pit road when he could make it to the end and just kind of try to undercut everybody else in the field with those fresh tires, see what kind of lap times he puts down and see if he can make some time up on the racetrack.
I think that's going to be a huge factor here. I was going to say I'm not really sure if it'll trigger the green flag stops or not. Me personally, I have not ran the Milwaukee Mile too many times, as I think I was cutting out earlier. I've maybe ran this track once or twice in the IndyCar, but we'll see what the lap times are on the fresh tires.
Yeah, Travis Zudeman's last lap was a 30.162, and we'll see what Kevin Paskovich runs when he gets back to the line, but I do believe it'll be a little bit quicker. At least it should be with those fresher tires. And across the line, he runs a 29.2.
Oh, caution
on
out.
the racetrack. That's Johnny Berardi there, nose into the, I believe that's between 1 and 2. So definitely had some issues there and having some issues getting going, but we'll have to see what happened. That's a bad break for Kevin Paskovich right now because it looks like he might have had some issues with the 25. Or the 4, excuse me. Looks like those two drivers getting into it a little bit, and it did result in the caution being thrown out. So that is like we were saying, that's a ooze. Yeah, right there. There's the replay. Looks like that Nate just got a better run through the middle of 1 and 2 and just kind of booted the 99 out of the way. So really, not either driver's fault, just something that can happen here at a track like this where you are hard on the brakes.
Whatever pit strategy we were just talking about, you can probably throw that out of the window. I expect to see everybody down pit road right here.
Absolutely.
Everybody on the lead lap.
Absolutely, and as much of a bad break as it was for Paskovich, he's going to probably take the wave around here. He only has about 1 or 2 laps on his tires, actually about 1 lap, really. So he will get his lap back as long as the leaders pit, and yes, they do. You see them on your screen right now. See if these two drivers right here, Zimmer and Travis Zudeman, both have been your top runners of the day so far. And see if they can get in their box cleanly. They do, and get the stops done.
Like everybody got into their pit box just fine. It looks like maybe Berardi missed his stop. I'm not really sure. 25's off pit road first.
Yeah, very interesting there. So he came in second, was able to get off pit road first, and there's AJ Digby coming off. There's Alan Capers. So interesting how that played out. Very. There's Christopher Burge, I believe, staying out on the racetrack right now. I don't think he will elect to stay out for the restart because that would be a little bit of a bad idea in my opinion, but might be just trying to lead a lap and get some bonus points. We have seen that is an important thing in this league. Of course, you get some bonus points for leading a lap as well as the most laps, so we've seen him do that before, and probably is going to come down pit road and get some tires in that car before we get going green.
Luckily for Paskovich and that 7 machine, I don't think the pit stop's actually going to bite him too much with the field size that we have today. I'm not sure where he's going to be sitting. And what is that, like maybe 8th, 9th? Obviously where he wants to be, but it's going to be a field size of 20 where he's starting in 19th or such. So.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a very good point because he effectively is ahead of the leaders right now, so he will be going around the pace car.
He will get the wave around.
And the worst he's going to be starting is where he is right now in 8th, so that's really, 4 rows back. So it could have been a lot worse, and he does have effectively the same tires as the rest of the field. Of course, the track position, not what he wanted, but he could have been a lot worse off too. And we see Christopher Burge diving into the pits here in just a moment, and indeed he does. So that's going to hand the lead back to that number 25 of Kyle Zimmer, and Brian Lowhead he's going to, I believe, take the wave around himself, and he will be 1 lap down as opposed to 2. So going to double up here in just a moment and get set to go back green.
That'll be interesting to see with that long green flag run that we just had, if any of the drivers behind Zudeman and Zimmer have picked up anything during that long run to be able to keep up a little bit more of this green flag run.
Yeah, it definitely will be interesting to see what those two drivers do. Because we did see that Zudeman was able to probably, I think he was the faster car in the long run, but we'll see if Zimmer can change something about the way he's driving and maybe save those tires a little bit. And then there's those two drivers behind those two, Capers and Digby, 13 and 14, see if they can do something with them as well. But the pace car is diving up. We're going green here in just a moment, and yes, we are right now. That is the moment. So going down into turn 1, I believe Zimmer got a pretty good restart. We'll see if Zuidema can do anything on that high side. We have seen that work on previous restarts, but no, it does not now. Zuidema just has to fall in behind Zimmer. Here comes Digby on Capers for the 3rd spot. Has a pretty good run down the backstretch, and then he's going to take the lead into turn 3, I believe. And yes, he does. So Capers didn't get a great run through 3 and 4, so that moves Digby up to the 3rd spot. See if he can do anything with those two in front of him. This is the closest we've seen Digby to the front as that track position back, and that deficit that he had to the leaders erased.
Yeah, now if I'm sitting in that 14 car, what I'm doing is I'm trying to watch those two guys up in front of me to see what they did on that last run, to see if I can mimic that to keep up.
Yeah, we're on board with him right now. See what kind of line he's running. A little bit higher up than those two, but dives it back down to the bottom on the exit of the track. And you hear him shifting on his onboard right now. You see those two drivers up at the front getting close to battling once again. Of course, Zuidema and Zimmer have been going at it all race. Those have been your two dominant cars of the race so far. I believe they have led most of the laps. Yes, they have. Kevin Paskowitz, your pole sitter, was able to only lead just a couple. So Digby not falling too far behind those two as of yet. So I think once we get battling for the lead, which we are doing right now, Travis Zuidema has a good run off turn 4. See if he can make the move into turn 1. I believe he might be able to run in that low side, but here Zimmer actually says no thank you, I'm going to run up here and get a good run off too. So very good run for him, and he's going to be able to hold the lead and pull down in front of the 90.
As we keep seeing them battle for the lead, we're seeing the 14 reel them in just a little bit. We can make this a 3-car battle for the lead here soon.
Absolutely, and he's definitely got to be liking what he's seeing in his windshield, seeing those two go side by side, and he knows that like you were kind of pointing out, he's kind of going to see what they're doing and see what kind of see what he's been doing versus what they've been doing all race. But very good racing between those two. Again, we saw that earlier on this race where Zimmer and Zuidema were going after it, the two Z's in the field, and just not able to really get away from each other.
And as we see about this 90 on this run, I wonder if he's going to be saving tires like he did on that first one. With the way they're battling right now, I have to believe that they're going to be using up more than AJ is in that 3rd place spot. And now that we make it a 3-way battle, we'll see if the 13 can get brought into it too with the rest of the field.
Yeah, it almost looked like there that AJ was going to make it 3 wide. Wisely kind of said that no thank you to that. But these two, Zuidema and Zimmer, not able to do anything with each other just yet. But as I say that, Zuidema gets the advantage off turn 4. But here comes Digby on Zimmer. Has that outside line working pretty well for him. And a good run down in turn 1. See if he can do anything with it. I don't believe he can. But we have seen that outside line work a little bit through 1 and 2. It's not so good in 3 and 4, but in 1 and 2, that outside line is pretty good. If you can kind of hold that line, and he's going to make the move on Zimmer off turn number 2. So Digby's showing that he is pretty strong right now.
Yeah, I think that's adaptability that we were talking about earlier. I think he kind of slowed himself down, watched what the leaders were doing, breath, and here he is in the front of the field, comfortable as ever. I think the rest of the field seems to be doing maybe the same thing. It looks like Capers is still holding on back there in 4th place, about a 1.5 seconds off the lead. He's right there, one little slip up from these guys, and he's going to drag some of the field with him.
Yeah, here we see on board from Travis Zuidema looking from the rear window, and you see that Digby is all over him, running a little bit of a higher line. He's kind of diamonding a little, well, actually moved up a little bit, and that might spell that he's going to get a battle from the 25. Ooh, very close there.
Big move.
That was almost a 3-car wreck because that was a very late move. Ooh, bump from behind.
I don't know if Zimmer liked that too much.
And definitely those two drivers are losing time with that number 90 now. They're beating each other up, and that did, we saw the gap extend exponentially almost from that move. So there might be some tempers being flared at this point in the race. We're almost at halfway too.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for anybody that is not in the 90 car to probably keep up with that 90. The 90 seems to just be much quicker than everybody else by himself during the race. I'm not sure where he qualified. I didn't get to see that. But yeah, during the race today, he seems to be the quickest guy out there. So if these guys battle too much behind him, I think we're going to see Zuidema just start to pull away from the field.
Yeah, he definitely has shown that he is very quick at this stage in the race, and Bigby and Zimmer are still going at it. Want to see if there is any more contact between those two, because I think you were right. I don't think that Zimmer was happy about that move that Bigby made, cutting him off into turn one. But either way, they did get out of it without an incident, so it is what is important. Bigby's still able to hold off Zimmer off too. He's running the higher line. Zimmer is pretty quick right now. I think he's a little bit frustrated with AJ himself, because he knows that he can go up there and battle with the 90 at least a little bit, and just kind of knows he thinks he might be getting held up by the 14 a little bit, but he is able to get around off turn number 4.
As we see that the 13 is being brought back into play from that 25 and 14 battle.
We caution on the racetrack. Looks like the number 4, Becatilla, has nosed it into the inside wall right there on the front stretch, and that car is crabbing quite a bit, so we'll have to see if ooh, yeah, that is an extreme amount of crab, so he has the wall extremely hard. So yeah, you see right there, it looks like he got stuck in it, or something like that. So very interesting wreck. It didn't look like it was particularly high speed, but either way, that car is destroyed, and he's going to have to come in and get that car repaired, and that is our...
Ooh. Somebody else was already spinning. That was... Not sure
actually,
who that was.
Actually climbed up on the wall. I believe that looked like it was I can't really tell who that was. Might have been number 17 of Fernando Matos who had some issues. I saw that there was green on the car, and that 17 has, and yes, that was the 17 of Matos. So Nate Catilla, an evasive move, got on 2 wheels on that wall, and it kind of pitched that car into kind of just hitting the inside wall. So
and what stemmed that was... Oops, sorry about that. Go ahead, Cam. Yeah, the 17 looked like he went too low into the corner. He got over the curbing, maybe slightly into the grass, and hit an access road, upset the car, and he just spun left.
Absolutely, and that is our second caution of the day. So it's been quite a fairly clean race, 67 laps down and having 2 cautions, so very cool to see that. But we are past halfway by 2 laps, and your leader at the halfway point was right there, that Miller High Life machine of Travis Zuidema. We have some other cars on pit road right now. Looks like interesting strategy. I don't believe the 90 hit it, and neither did Digby. So that's going to be interesting to see on the restart. The first car off of pit road was Kyle Zimmer. So I would have to say, Kevin, like you said, with the field size the way it is, I don't really see why you wouldn't pit, because it just seems like you would be at such a disadvantage with those cars on newer tires, only being a couple rows behind you, that it really would not make sense to me to stay out, at least at this part of the race.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, maybe the 14 changed his mind there. I'm not really sure about that call. I almost feel like, and it's a struggle for me. I was going to say at first, I don't know why you'd want to pit the second time through, but once again, it just kind of goes back to maybe if you realize, maybe he just realized what you just said, Cam, is, I mean, with the small field size, pitting after a lap of staying out, might have just realized, hey, I might as well go into, it's not going to really hurt me. So I don't know if the 90 and the 13 are going to be able to hold on to the front.
Well, let's ask the man himself, see what his strategy is. Travis Zuidema, this is Cameron Rich up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, Roger.
All right, man. Well, interesting strategy that you had right there, staying out with a couple laps on your tires. Can you kind of guide us through what made you to make that call?
I'm just trying to do the opposite of what everyone else is. When I noticed the guys behind me were getting ready to duck down, so I figured I'd just stay out and fingers crossed, kind of. I mean, I don't want to see one, but at the same time I do hope for another caution, and then I'll come down there, and I'm kind of, playing a clutching game right now, trying to save a little extra fuel here under caution, so.
All right, man. Well, I think we're going to be getting going green here in just a moment, and actually, yes, we are. So we'll let you get back to doing what you're doing good. You're up there, look like you're pretty fast, so good luck the rest of this race, bud, and we hope to talk to you again in just a moment.
All right, man. Thanks a lot, man.
Well, heard from the man himself, just trying to do the opposite of what everybody else is doing. So it's not a bad strategy to call. Usually that does mean, sometimes it is a bad strategy, but I think Travis Zuderman has enough speed in that car tonight to where it won't hurt him too much.
Yeah, I think he'll be all right. I think, with fresh tires or not, I feel like he is going to be towards the front regardless. The guy just seems to be extremely quick tonight. Plus, I don't think we had too many laps on those tires on that last run, if I recall. I'm not sure how many laps that was, but it was nowhere near the run that we had before.
Yeah, it was I believe, about 10 laps, so it's not a huge amount. Of course, this is not a hugely abrasive racetrack like a Darlington or so, but either way, we are getting going green here. Alan Capers gets a pretty good restart on that outside line and able to nose ahead of Travis Zuma. We've seen that pretty much every restart. We'll see if he can do something on that high side through 1 and 2. It is putting up a good challenge, but Zuma has the run on the bottom side. And that first car on tires right there is that number 25 of Zimmer. We've seen him up front most of this race, but here is that number 7 of Pasquin. We've not talked about him too much since he was some contact there, 3 I believe, or just about that 32 and the 25, but through that sequence of events, Kyle Zimmer was able to take second place away from Alan Capers, and he's under fire from that number 7 of Paskowicz again. But like we were saying, have not brought him up too much since Paskowicz got involved in trouble in the first part of the race, spinning out in turn 4. But he has made his way back up to the 3rd spot, and he is the pole sitter for tonight's event, so definitely has a lot of speed in that car. We'll see if he can get that track position back and make his way back up to challenge Zimmer and Zuma, excuse me.
Yeah, we'll see if these fresh tires come into play here. I believe the 7 went into pit last time, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, we'll see how these fresh tires come into play then. I think if you really look, the guy that got hurt on that last round of stops was Digby. Coming in after that second lap, he shuffled back to the back of the pack and really hasn't made any ground since the restart. So as we see the 90 and the 25 and the 7 get back to the front of the field here, look like a good battle shaping up.
Absolutely, and you see the kind of difference in tires right there in the center of the corner. That number 25 able to get in the gas a little bit harder or a little bit earlier than the 90, but that 90 car is just so strong that he's really able to kind of fend off the challenge of the newer tires. Of course, 10 laps newer tires is, at some tracks it can be a daunting really kind of thing, but here I don't believe it's that much. And of course this car is a little bit different than say the Cup car, where you have so much more horsepower and you really can spin those tires up. But here comes Zimmer, like we were actually at the opposite of what I was just saying. He is kind of gaining on that number 90 a bit, and Kevin Paskowicz able to come into the fight as well. So I think we might see a 3-car battle for the lead here. Ooh, Zimmer got in the corner a little bit too hard and just kind of ran up the racetrack. I believe those new tires are...
there goes the 7, got really loose coming out of 4.
Yeah, that was I think that might have been started by that 25 kind of getting into the corner too hard, and he slid up the track. Ooh, some trouble there. The 17 sideways in turn 1, but I think everybody did get out of it okay. Yes, they did. So no caution, and everybody's straight, but we're having a battle for the lead here at the front.
Continues. Wow, a lot of good saves by everybody to keep the green flag out and keep that yellow off the course.
Absolutely, so much going on that we can't even see we can't even keep track of it all. But we do have a battle for the lead between the 25 and the 90. We're throwing a little bit of a block into turn 1, and the caution flag is out.
As we say that, here comes the yellow.
That caution was
Jeff. Looks like we had one thrown after all that exchange. I'm not really sure exactly what we're getting the caution called for. I don't know if it had something that stemmed from that little burst of action right there. I'm not really sure where it came from, or if we maybe had somebody sideways on the track.
Yeah, that was a race control call caution. It might have been just because so much was going on, and we did have a couple cars get sideways and whatever, but interesting that it was a thing. But either way, we're gonna re-rack the field here and probably see. Well, we did talk to Travis Zudema under that last caution. He said he wasn't wishing for one, but hopes to get another one, and I believe that we'll see him come down pit road, maybe not. He was doing pretty well on those older tires, able to keep the lead from Zimmer. I think he is I think he is going to come.
I drag everybody with him too again. Wow, that's a win for him.
Alan Capers staying out, so he's gonna do the opposite of what everybody else does and stay on the racetrack, I believe. So it was a pretty good strategy call for Zootema either way, because he was able to keep that lead and get some fresh tires this time.
Yeah, the fact that he was able to drag everybody, or most everybody, down pit road with him worked out great for him right here. I honestly was pretty shocked to see the rest of the field follow through. I don't know if they're just that worried about Zootema with fresh tires, because as we saw with old tires, he still held them off just fine.
Huge battle off pit road there. Had about 4 cars inside of each other for a moment there, but I believe that it was won by Zimmer. So he will be in front of the 7 and the 90. So the big loser on that stops looks like it was Travis Zootema. So saying he was kind of hoping for that caution to get tires, but probably not so much right now, because he did lose a lot of spots in that exchange.
Comes Capers down pit road.
Capers and Catilla coming down pit road. I believe Catilla is 2 laps down, so he had some issues there. Maybe had to tow his car in that caution he was involved in just a few ago, but either way, probably not the night he wanted to go so far. But it's good to see a good showing from a Chevy tonight in this series. Of course, that is a joke, because all of these are Chevys. This is as the old Nationwide car, I guess. That's what you'd call it. I was on iRacing when it was still the Nationwide car, so it's kind of weird to me to see that this is kind of the K&N car now. Because I remember running this when it was the B car, so I guess I'm showing my age, but either way, this is what we got now, and the B car itself is I guess the old COT.
But we're just going to shuffle all the way through the field on these pit cycles. Digby coming back down again. Not sure what that's for. I know he came through with the first group. Well, 66, yeah, the 66 stayed out. It looks like the 66 stayed out to lead a lap. 14, yeah, it came down a second time. I'm not really sure. Maybe he didn't get a full stop, what he was looking for. I'm not really sure.
But we are about to go green here in just a few moments. The pace car lights are off, and let's just go ahead and reset the field for you real quick. Kyle Zimmer is your leader, Kevin Paskovich second, Travis Zootema third, Brian Lowhead came down pit road, so that should give the 4th place to Fernando Matos. Billy Wise going to be in 5th, AJ Digby, Alan Capers, Chris Berge, Brian Lowhead is going to line up behind him, and then Nate Catilla and Johnny Berardi both laps down on the field right now. So it's set to go back green here in just a moment, working our 3rd caution of the night, I believe. So we'll see if Kevin Paskovich can do anything. We haven't seen him up front all night since the initial start. But he gets a good restart, able to hold with that 25 on that outside line. We've seen that outside be pretty good from 1 and 2 if they can hold it. I don't believe he's got a pretty good run through 1 and 2 right now, but not able to hold it just yet. But as I say that, he has a good run off 2. He was able to hold it. So we'll see if he can make the move into turn 3, but that number 25 has a little bit of a push from behind from that 90. We have some stacking up.
We have trouble in the back. Oh, Capers spun right into, not even sure who is that. Roberge. Like Capers got a little help from behind, and he just shot right up towards the outside wall, right into Roberge through the corner there.
Yeah, we'll see what happened here on the replay, because that was a little bit further behind. Ooh, just some, a little bit loose. I think he might have got some help from behind, but it looks like that car just kind of snapped and really, yeah, might have, we'll see on board from Capers here. This will be the defining shot. He's right behind the number 32 of Billy Wise, and there was no contact there, but it looks like he jammed on the brakes a little bit and just spun it out there.
Hard in the brakes, upset the rear end of that car and just kind of snapped it around, it looked like.
Yeah, might have a lot of rear brake dialed in that thing just to get it to turn, and that's kind of what can happen. But that car did snap around pretty quickly and get into the 98, so both those cars are going to be damaged a little bit, but I believe both should be good to get down and get their fast repairs and get back going here. but I don't think anyone else coming down pit road. That only was about a lap. Actually, Digby coming down pit road again. So interesting strategy for him. I'm not sure what he's doing, why he is coming down so much. But either way, he obviously thinks he needs to. So, you know.
Yeah, I'm not sure if maybe the strategy call here is with the small amount of cars in the field tonight, if he just feels every chance that he can get tires, maybe he's coming down to get that. I don't really think there's a need to be topping off at this point, if I'm correct, but maybe he just feels like the tires are paying off that much to where if he can get them, he's going to go get them.
Yeah, no, definitely. He is the one driving the car, so we're just speculating up here in the booth. But you know, maybe he does feel like the fresh tires, even if it's 1 lap or 2 laps or so, will be an advantage to him. And of course, it would be an advantage. It's just if that advantage can overcome being back in the pack a little bit relative to the rest of the field. But you know, with the short field, it might be something that will come into play as we get closer to the end.
It is interesting because I know he's been doing it throughout the race, and I feel like the last time he did this, it really didn't turn out too well because I know he started towards the back and didn't really seem to make too much ground. I'm not really sure how much the tires are making a difference tonight, but hey, if he feels like it's helping him out in the car, you know, go for it. Whatever you feel comfortable with.
Absolutely, but you know, it's something that definitely is something to be kind of thought of. But either way, I kind of want to talk to the number 7 of Kevin Paskovich real quick, so we'll see if we can dial him up real quick before we get going green in here. Kevin Paskovich, is Cameron up here in the booth? You got a copy?
Hey, what's up, guys?
All right. Well, we haven't talked about you much all night. We saw you had some trouble there early on in the race, but you are up to second. Is there what's your kind of strategy to get up there and challenge at 25 for the lead?
It's kind of to let it feel out, see where the tires go and see where the car goes. I think right now I might be one of the fastest, if not the fastest guy on the track after a couple laps. I think some of these guys are just a little bit faster than me on a short run, but after 5-8 laps, I think it comes in. So we'll see. It's been a fun race so far, though.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for talking to us, and we'll let you get back to what you're doing well. So good luck the rest of this race, and we hope to talk to you again soon.
All right, thank you, guys.
Short, sweet, and to the point. Just knows he's fast. Just kind of saying go out there and get it.
Yeah, sounds like a great plan to me, Cam.
And he is in a good spot right now, running in that second position. We saw him get a good restart on the last one, was able to kind of challenge that 25 who is starting first, and we'll see if he can kind of do something on this restart. But that pace car about to pull off into the pits, and indeed he does. Flagman has that green in his hands, and he's throwing it out. But as we were saying, he did not get a good restart right that time. Kyle Zimmer was able to gap him by a car length into turn 1, and trying to make that move on the high side, but I don't think it will do much good for him because that 25 was just too far ahead. And there's Travis Zudema right behind these two. Have a 3 wide in the back. Digby going very low on the racetrack with Fernando Matos, and that was Billy Wise for a moment. And I believe he might get the spot. Yes, he does. So 2 for 1 in turn 3 for Digby.
Oh, we got another wreck.
Ooh, trouble off turn 4. It's Billy Wise and Fernando Matos around in turn 4, and looks like that neither driver hit the wall very hard, but they both did get in the wall just a little bit.
Cautions seem to be breeding cautions right now today. After that long green flag run we had earlier, it seems to be these guys are getting pretty antsy and fighting for every position that they can get on these restarts.
Looks like both of those drivers just kind of ran out of room in turn 4, quite literally. They kind of just drifted into each other. We saw that Digby made an extremely aggressive move there into turn 3, but he was not part of this at all. Fernando Matos looks like he got a little bit loose, but drifted over the track into the 32 a little bit, and both of them went around.
Yeah, that whole restart right there, I think that part of the pack was driving pretty aggressively, and I think there's just a lot to be mindful of, and finally caught up with them coming up turn 4.
Yeah, some strategy being played. I believe the 25 and the 98 Kawazuma, they both elected to come down pit road, as well as those 2 drivers involved in caution, Wise and Matos. So very interesting to see that. It's Kevin Paskovich, who we just talked to under the last caution, did stay out, and Kevin, the other Kevin, who's not driving right now, Digby, I guess, proving us wrong up here in the booth. He did stay out as well, and he does have the freshest tires, or he has fresher tires than that number 7. So we'll see if that can do some good for him.
Yeah, maybe he's been playing this caution game here and playing his cards right so far and shuffles right back up to the front. This could be a big strategy race coming down to the wire, especially if we keep having these cautions. But at some point, Cam, I don't think we're going to see guys keep coming down pit road like they have been. Once we close in on these last 15, 20 laps, I think we're going to see guys stay out because I don't really think you're going to want to give up that track position.
And Alan Caper is showing that he wants to do just that. He's coming up pit road as well, so interesting to see that. He has been quite consistent all race, kind of run in the 4th to 5th spot most of the night, not really able to get up there and challenge for the lead, but not really able to, or not really falling back too far either. So maybe Caper's thinking that might be his best opportunity to do something. But no, definitely it'll be interesting to see. Really, these two at the front, Digby and Paskowicz, other than when, these two started 1 and 2 in the night, but they have not been up there most of the night. Of course, Paskowicz having trouble with that first incident where he got kind of shuffled back, and Digby been playing some strategy all night. So it's interesting to see that these two drivers who started 1 and 2 are kind of back to where they are in this stage of the race.
Right, I think it's kind of a product of the giant chess game we've been having going on since these cautions have been coming out. I think they've timed up their pit stops just right, maybe whether they planned it or not. But I think the shuffle that we've been having with these pit stops has brought them right back up to the front.
Absolutely, and we'll see how the rest of this race plays out. We have about 40 laps to go right now, exactly, so we're going to re-rack the field, get them double filed up and ready to get back going again. Real quick to reset the field. Kevin Paskowicz, your leader. Digby second. Roberge, Lowhead, Zimmer, Zudema, Matos, Wise, Capers, Catilla, and Berardi are your remaining runners. And Catilla was able to get back on the lead lap. We said that he was 2 down just a few cautions ago, so these cautions are doing pretty well for him. Good to see him back on the lead lap, but we'll see. We'll see what Digby is able to do. We saw him make a pretty good move there on the outside line on the initial start on that number 7 below him, so kind of a deja vu moment. We'll see if he can do that again. But the third place runner, Chris Roberge, have not talked about him too much tonight. See if he can make a move into turn 1 here. But the pace car getting ready to dive off into pit road, and indeed he does. Green flag is out on the racetrack. Paskowicz gets a pretty good restart. Digby was caught sleeping a little bit. Actually might be under fire from that number 98 of Roberge if he doesn't get a good run through 1 and 2. He's on that outside line. They battled for second with those two drivers. But Kyle Zimmer showing he's definitely not out of it right now. He did pit under that caution, so he's going to look under Digby as well. So Digby not the start he wanted so far, and yes, he is going to lose the spot to Zimmer pretty easily, and might be under fire from Zudema, but Zimmer is going to look on Roberge here in just a moment.
You have to be careful. Oh wow, we have a flipper on the front stretch. Was that Billy Wise?
Yeah, that car,
yeah.
Actually that's Alan Capers who went tumbling, and he's still flipping, so we'll have to see what happened there. That is a crazy wreck, not something you expect here in Milwaukee with how flat it is, but yeah, almost had 2 flips there. Billy Wise got on wheels, and Alan Capers went for a tumble. Actually, looks like Nate Catilla went through his car while he was flipping, so good old iRacing netcode there at work.
Here from the in-car.
Yeah, this will be a crazy ride here. Let's see it from this is the gyro cam. Yes, it's going crazy right there because this car is going pretty crazy.
These guys having a rough time trying to get a green flag run underway again. I think after the calmness of it, they had to make sure they got some little bits of crazy going on tonight. And I think we've had a few of those ever since that long green flag run.
I think, Kevin, like you said just a few moments ago, cautions, new breed cautions, and as we're getting closer to the end of this race, that intensity is ramping up just a bit, and we're kind of seeing more aggressiveness out of these drivers and more cautions.
The 14's going back to pit road again.
Yeah, so he definitely thinks that he needs those tires once again. He did lose a few spots on that restart, so that probably is why he elected to make that decision. But Either way, really, we are getting down to the end of this race, and you have to wonder when the pit stops will kind of stop, like you kind of brought up. It really, you really don't want to start losing your track position at this point with only 30 or so laps to go.
Right, even with a short field, at some point going down pit road to get the new tires, the minimal gain, I think realistically these guys are getting off of fresh tires, it's not gonna be worth it at some point. I'm guessing, once we hit lap 100, I don't think we're gonna see guys coming down pit road as frequently as they have been coming out of the lead through third place.
Absolutely, and I want to take a quick moment right here to give a shout out to all of our chatters in the chat. That would be Wesley Lee, Justin Gillum, Brian Newton. Good to see them all having some. Wesley Lee, a fan of Alan Capers, saying "Go Capers, number 13," and I don't think what you saw was your definition of going, because that car did go, but it didn't go in the direction it should have. It kind of went over and over. So. But either way, he was able to get his car going after that and get it fixed up, get that fast repair, and he's on the lead lap, albeit back in 10th position. Now,
Go ahead.
Alex, no, go ahead.
I was just going to be saying it looks like it's nice to see Chris Roberge up there in second place tonight. We'll see on this restart how long he can hold on to these other front three between Paskowitz, Zimmer, and Zudema.
Yeah, you're right. You read my mind there, Kevin, because I was about to bring that driver up. He really has had a quiet night tonight, not really made too much noise at the front, but that's kind of what he does. Really, he's not somebody who goes out there and leads a ton of laps every race, but he seems to always get a top 4 or 3 position at the end. So definitely someone to always watch out for, and obviously knows what he's doing. Plus, that car is beautiful. I cannot get over how awesome that car is. I loved it I loved it when it was in real life, and I love it even more here.
Yeah, I love these flashes of the early to mid 2000s that I'm seeing on all these liveries there. The paint schemes, sorry. Road course guys got me into saying liveries all the time. But, yeah, so these paint schemes are looking great on these cars. I love the early to mid 2000s throwbacks, but I think the 98 has just quietly been adapting to track all night, and I think we might be able to see him hold on to one of these front spots once we get going green here again.
Absolutely, and adaptability is something we've talked about all night tonight, just kind of changing with the track, changing the car every week, just seeing what everybody else is doing that might be doing a little bit better than you. But we'll see how that works later on in this race. Pace car is off, and one thing that Chris Verge did not adapt to very well is that restart did not get going whatsoever, and he's going to be under fire from the 25 of Zimmer as well as Zudema. We'll see if he can hold on the outside pretty well. He didn't lose as much as I thought he would. Did get a pretty good run off too, but he is still under fire from that number 90. So that did move the number 25 up to the second spot. He's right behind the leader right now, Kevin Paskowitz, who does have the oldest tires in the field right now, I believe. So a bit of a disadvantage for him, but either way, he is pretty quick.
Yeah, what the 98 didn't get on the restart, the 90 helped him out with. Huge bump on that restart, and then he just dove to the inside to try to get around him. Got a 98 in the wall there.
Yeah, it's throwing some sparks off turn number 2, so definitely not in the direction that he wanted to be going. Might have been a commentator's curse right there. Ooh, very close there with him and Billy Wise. Might have been a little bit of contact. I think he moved Billy out of the way a little bit, but nobody spinning out or anything. But we do have a caution somewhere else on the racetrack. The 66 of Brian Lowhead around on the front stretch, and that car is smoking, not doing very well, as well as there's Nate Catilla involved as well.
If there was a little bit of contact here coming out of 4.
And you see right there those two drivers, hooked in the wall by the car, and both drivers went flipping around. So that's the second flips we've seen in a row.
I'm not sure if these guys that are on the low side are aware of. Not aware, but oh wow, I'm completely wrong with what I was going to say there. I thought the guys on the low side were coming up towards the wall and not realizing the guy on the high side are still there, but I definitely, that's not the case here. I don't know if Lowhead come down out of the corner.
Yeah, that's not the first time we've seen that either.
I think the guys on the top side, or the high side, just maybe are misjudging the guys on the low side, rather. Maybe I had that backwards. I'm not sure if they're aware that those guys on the low side are still there. I don't know what's happening, but I know that's at least the second or third time we've had that, especially coming out of 4.
Yeah, it definitely is weird. That's not something you typically see, but I think it might be just a product of everybody trying to diamond this racetrack. So that, of course, that when you diamond, the car on the top will come down a little bit, and the kind of combination of that bottom car kind of just going up a little bit. But it definitely is weird. It's something that has kind of manifested itself over the race a little bit. We've seen several incidents just like that, and several incidents ending up in flipping cars as well. So that is something that is very interesting. With a couple cars on pit road, your leader from the last restart, Kevin Paskowicz, electing to come down pit road, as well as I believe Kyle Zimmer did as well. Yes, he did. Chris Roberge electing to come down pit road, as well as Nate Cotillo, who was in that wreck. So it's going to give the lead back to that 90 of Travis Zudema, who we might think is probably the fastest car here tonight. He definitely has, I believe, led the most laps. So definitely getting out to where he probably wants to be for the rest of this race, and did be going to be in second again. So see what he can do with that 90. I don't believe he's really raced the 90 too much. He's raced with the 7 a little bit, but not really able to race with Travis just so much yet. But one driver who we've not really talked about too much tonight is that number 17, Fernando Matos. He is running in the 3rd spot right now. Kind of had a quiet night himself. I know he's been involved in a few things, but doing a good job of just kind of taking the race as it is and just letting it come to him.
Yeah, he's been doing a real good job of that. I think he's quietly been hanging out in the top 5 pretty much all night. Like you said, Cam, we haven't talked about him too much at all tonight, but he's been sitting right there. It's only going to take one little mistake on the restart for him to jump up there. And also, we've been saying with this shuffling that we've been seeing going on with these pit stops, if these guys up front decide to pit late, it could bring the 17 to the front of the field. All he has to do is stay out. Because getting fresh tires and getting fast is one thing, but getting around the driver here is another, because there isn't that many lanes to choose from.
Absolutely, and as we were talking about him, we have a new chatter in the chat, Mike Rourke, saying he is a Fernando Matos fan, so waving the flag for him. Good to see him up there, and Fernando is a good dude. Has a video on YouTube of his kind of passion for racing, and that was a really cool thing to watch, very well done, and really cool to see. But we are getting ready to go green here in just a moment. Pace car lights are off. The only driver 1 lap down right now is Johnny Berardi, who we did see have some issues really early on in this race, but has been able to get a few of those laps back with the amount of cautions we've had. So who knows, maybe we'll see him get back on the lead lap through the lucky dogs here.
Yeah, I'm going to have to guess if I'm sitting in the 90 or the 14, the 17 or the 13, any of those guys really up front at this point, I would be shocked if I see them go down pit road again. I think with less than 30 to go now, what you have is what you have. If you're pitting, you're shuffling yourself back. And those guys who just took stops, I don't think they're going again. So, we'll sit back and see.
Absolutely, but we'll see what happens on this restart. Digby wasn't able to get going on that outside line the last time we saw him there, and a little bit better again, but not able to hold with that 90 just yet. We'll see if he can get that run through 1 and 2. That really is what matters, but no, he pulls right down behind Travis Zudema and able to kind of get right on his bumper. Battle for third with Capers and Matos off too. Matos has it, Capers wants it as well. They have the 7 of Paskowicz in that battle as well. I see AJ Digby driving it very hard into the corner and actually almost got into the back of the 90. We have a battle everywhere on this racetrack, 3 wide with the 7, 17, and 13 into 1. We'll see what happens there. I don't think there's enough room there. You see it from the back of Digby's car, but everybody gets through it pretty well. Fernando Matos, the big loser in that. He's going to lose the spot to Paskowicz as well as Capers. But really kind of a hornet's nest on this racetrack right now.
Yeah, the 7 knew that he was quicker than the 13 and the 17 on that restart, and I was watching him. He didn't want to waste any time. He was going at it right away, and reasonably so. He's already up to 3rd, and he's already making ground on the 14, it looks like.
We have a 3 wide again, and 17 got punted from the 98 and got spun around in one there. I saw that happening from a mile away just because how close they were into that corner, and there's not enough room to do that. But either way, we'll see what happened here on replay. Again, it's either 3 wide into one here, and just not...
Unfortunate break for the 17 there. Looks like the 98 just wiggled or something. I'm not really sure.
He looks like he made a bit of an evasive move from the 25 who got below him and kind of just got into Matos here. We'll see from the back of Matos' car. Looking back before we look at the wall. And yeah, just some contact there, and boom, right there's the wall. Spoiler kicked up in the air. That's quite a bit of damage, but either way, he will get that fixed up. That is some extra downforce though, but you know, with the damage, it doesn't really work that way. You somehow lose downforce in the rear with that spoiler all kicked up. iRacing logic or something, but he will get that car fixed up and ready to go again.
Once again, the smaller field size tonight, he'll have a chance to battle right back up to the front. And as I said, look at that, the 90 is staying out, but the 14 goes. I don't think the 90 is going to go down pit road again. Like I said, I'm going to be shocked if he decides to go pitting out of the lead here.
Yeah, it's interesting that AJ is doing that. He's really been doing it all night. You know, it doesn't seem to have worked out for him that well. He really hasn't been able to challenge for the lead. Well, we haven't gotten a long enough run for him to see it as he's got up to the, top 2 spots. But I personally wouldn't give up a top 2 or top 3 running position myself, like you said, with as few laps to go. I mean, we have 22 laps to go right now, so that's not a lot of time to make up positions, even with only being 10 cars on the lead lap.
Right, especially since, like we're saying, I don't think anybody's really going to be going down pit road anymore. Early on in the race, I think it was working out for him, not necessarily because of the advantage gained from the tires, but more so because of the chess game that we had going on with his pit strategies. But I think it's going to be really tough for AJ to get back up to the front here, even with a quicker car, because it's so tough to get around everybody here. With so few laps and the amount of cautions we've had, I don't think people are going to be pitting. So we'll see if he can make his way back towards the front, but I mean, it's going to be tough to get back up there with the 90, the 7, and the 13 third.
Yeah, Alan Paper's up in third. We saw him flipping about 3 times down the front stretch just a few cautions ago, but that's the thing about the SimPossible Racing League. You'd have fast repairs, so he was able to get his car fixed up and ready to go, and you see it does make these races quite a bit better, just because you aren't immediately taken out if something happens, and that's just something that this league is about. Of course, these are all disabled racers if you're new to the league, so it's just a place for everybody to come and race and not be any judgment or anything like that. So just a kind of a friendly thing, and it definitely is fun to see how they race too, because they do put on hell of a good race every week. So it's always good to be able to watch it.
Yeah, week in and week out, it's always enjoyable to watch these guys race and see what they get to do. Everybody here, a good guy and some pretty good abilities here with what they can do on the track.
Absolutely, and we're going to have about 20 laps to go when we get going back green here. We are doubled up for the restart.
I think it's going to be interesting watching the 25 get to work here when the green flag comes out. I know he's probably going to want to get back up to that second spot as quickly as possible with all these cautions, so we'll see how much ground he can make up on the start.
Yeah, we know he is aggressive. He will make it 3 wide if he needs to, and see some connection issues there with the 66 right behind him, but it is all good. So that 25 definitely will be someone to watch on the restart, because I wouldn't be surprised if we see the 3 wide in turn 1.
And we'll see if Paskowicz can get a better start than he did last time. See if he can pull right with the 90 here on the restart. Seems like the guys on the restarts have been getting great starts every time.
And the pace car pulling off into the pit road. Oh, as you said, he gets a little bit of a jump. Might have jumped the gun a little bit, but that was about the best restart we've seen all night from that top side. See if he can do something with that 90 through 1 and 2. And he is very well ahead, but not able to hold it through turn 2. Loses that ground on Travis Zuderman. Might be under fire from Capers as well. Moved down the track a little bit too.
Oh, he spun the leader. He saves a great save
Wow.
from the 90. He maintains the lead too.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Huge
Huge wreck. We have a car in the fence. Is that Zudema in the fence?
That is Zudema stuck in the fence.
Wow.
That is going to be a disastrous end to his
Huge
race
change.
because that he's going to have to take a tow and definitely go a lap down. So what a heartbreak for him. Just got turned from behind and got stuck in that fence. Kyle, we can call him Kyle Larson's engine like it happened at Daytona that one year, but wow. That is absolutely a crazy way for this race to play out because that did give Alan Capers the lead. You know, somebody who we've seen flipping down the front stretch earlier on.
That is a race-changing moment right there. I mean, all night, I don't think we've seen the 90 of Zudema anywhere beyond third place when we're not looking at pit cycles. I mean, really has been the fastest car on the track all night. So for this to happen with so few laps to go, I don't know how he's going to get back up to the front. Now we got the 13 sitting up top with the 98 right behind him, and then the 66 behind him. This whole top three is just drastically shuffled. With that too, we have the 14 all the way back up there in the front.
Absolutely, and we saw from the onboard of Zimmer there was no contact from him to initiate the wreck. Zudema just got on the apron or the curb a little bit and got loose and kind of wiggled into Zimmer. So it was not really either driver's fault, just something that happens. If Zimmer wasn't there, Zudema probably would have been able to save the car, but
that was actually just. Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
Just a bit of a racing incident there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it looks like he was still trying to get reorganized from that first little shuffle that he had through turn 3. He was just starting to gather himself back up, and all of a sudden it looked like he just took a hard right.
Yeah, and just a product of circumstance, but he is one lap down. I believe he might be 2 actually, but car is fixed up and he is going to be getting going to green, or getting going here in a moment, so 2 laps down. But that is something that is actually for Kyle Zimmer as well. He had to take it. So really, Zimmer and Zudema, those 2 drivers have been the fastest all race, and both of them are multiple laps down at this point. So that is something, like you were saying, that is a race-changing moment. That is a huge implication for this race.
It is. It's crazy. Like I'm still processing it all, because even with that, we finally had Paskowicz move his way to the front after all race, and those top 3 were duking it out, and with that wreck, Paskowicz dropped back to 7th. I mean, he's still on the lead lap, but I mean, he's right at the tail end of the lead lap cars now as well. This running order has just completely rearranged itself.
Yeah, Alan Capers is your leader now. We'll reset the field for just a moment as the pace car lights come off. Alan Capers is your leader, followed by Christopher Burge, Brian Lowhead, AJ Digby, Billy Wise, Fernando Matos running in 6th, Kevin Paskowicz 7th, Nate Catilla in 8th. Travis Zudema, Kyle Zimmer, and Johnny Berardi are all now at least 2 laps down. So we have 8 cars on the lead lap, 8 cars still vying for the win of this race. Have about 15 laps to go here, and we'll see what happens. We've definitely seen enough crazy, wild moments. We'll see if the last 15 laps kind of produce a little bit more of that.
Yeah, crazy unfortunate circumstances for those guys that were up front, but with that being said, I am really excited to watch the 13 and the 98 here battle it out with the 66 as well. So this is going to be exciting. We haven't seen this all night so far, and we'll see what these guys can do. I'm sure they're going to put on a show.
Absolutely, and pace car agreeing with us because it's going to get out of the way for these drivers to race. Alan Capers gets a bit of a jump on everybody. Yes, he does. Christopher Burge not out to a very good restart. He's under fire from Digby, but Digby can't go anywhere. Contact with the 66, and we're wrecking again.
Contact already, yep.
In turn 2, so definitely the cautions, breeding cautions once again. And I believe the big loser on that was the 66. He was the one that went spinning around, the 98 was the one that went spinning around.
Looks like the 98 went spinning, and then I think AJ might have got a tap from behind there as well. Yep, from Matos, and Paskowicz in it as well.
Yeah, so really this race is throwing more curveballs at us each and every lap. It's just something happening. But either way, one driver who's got to be loving it is that number 13 of Capers. He's sitting pretty right now. If he can run these last 10 or so laps, we get going back green pretty cleanly, he can notch out a win in this series.
Yeah, good. I mean, besides the one flip, it seems like it's been pretty clean for Capers all night. I mean, he's sitting up front, right timing on just some of these incidents. Must be, right place, right time kind of thing. Also been quick. And now it's paying off for him. Not really sure what his pit strategy was all night. I didn't really see that. I'm not sure if he was one of those guys going, caution after caution. But whatever he's doing, I guess it's been working for him now. So it'd be nice to see him. If he can pull this off, it'd be great. I mean, that's why they don't just hand the trophies out in the first half of the race, because you never know what is going to happen.
Yeah, let's dial Alan Cape up real quick and see what he's thinking in the car right now. Let's see if we can go find him in the channel. There he is. Alan Capers, this is Cam Rich in the booth. You got a copy.
Dan sir, how are you?
I'm pretty good. Probably not as good as you are. You went tumbling there just a few cautions ago, but now you're in the lead. So that is, you got to be sitting, or not got to be. You are sitting pretty. So what's your plan to kind of just, get this one over with and try to get that win?
I'm going to assume this track's about 50 feet wide, so I'm going to make this car about 52 feet wide and try to block them and keep them back there. But it's probably not going to work. I'm sure there'll be more caution.
Yeah, definitely. One thing you said, assuming there's going to be more cautions, is that kind of... Are you kind of thinking that you're going to be running the rest of this race in like maybe 2 or 3 lap sprints? You don't think you're going to go green?
It's the way it's that's the way it's been for the past 10. So, well, I could be wrong. Hopefully, I'm wrong. But the first part of this race is great. I'd love to see this thing go green the rest of the way. I got a pretty good ride here, and next level's hooked me up, so we're just ready to go get our first win, man.
All right, well, we'll let you get back to doing just that. Definitely in the best spot to do it right now. So thank you so much for talking to us, and we hope to talk to you again in just a few laps.
Hopefully so, sir.
Well, talk to him, and he thinks he can get it done, and definitely gonna try to do that. Purple machine, I've said this already, but I am quite partial to it. That is my favorite color, so always cool to see a purple car leading the race. I run purple cars in iRacing myself, so I kind of think that that's myself out in front, which is always a good place to be.
Yeah, I might be slightly biased, but I always like the look of the 14 car. But that 13 is looking really good tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We always hear when we interview AJ, he always thanks you for painting his cars, I believe. You paint his cars, don't you?
I do my best with those. I try to paint the cars and do the spotting every now and then. I haven't been around too much with this series yet, but I'm enjoying it, and I'm glad they're racing the K&N car, so I'm excited to watch this last 10 laps as we're about to go green right here.
Well, that is a pretty good looking car, the 14 is, and definitely is in a pretty good spot to do something right here on this restart, but we're going to be getting going green here in just a moment. And
bad start on the 66.
Ooh, what a mess.
I don't think the 66 got going on that start, and AJ wanted to go. I mean, reasonably so, and wow, that's a lot to take in right there. That took out almost the whole field, I want to say.
That was an absolute mess right there. I don't know. It would be safer to say who wasn't involved.
Yeah. I don't think the 66 got on it when they went green. I don't know what happened. And then after that, it just piled up. I mean, with 10 laps to go, I think everybody, nobody's going to wait for the guy if he missed a shift or something, so.
Yeah, looks like, I think we might have seen it right there. The 66 was in the wall just a little bit and just was not able to, got some wall glue there and kind of just didn't let the car go. So odd wreck right there, but what a absolute mess on the front stage. We saw a couple cars flying. We saw Digby get in there, and I think someone else flipped around as well.
Well, that's just a giant smoke screen right there for the 25. Smart on the 25 there to just wait and let that progress.
Yeah, you just can't see anything when you're in the cockpit. Of course, when we're on that roof cam, we're about a foot higher than where the eyes are in the driver's seat. More eye level right here, and you just can't see anything behind that. So, yeah, what you see right there.
That's quite the ride.
That is a ride right there from the onboard of Billy Wise in that gyro cam.
And don't look now, but at the 90 that is sitting right behind the 13 now after that. Oh no, never mind. I'm sorry. Wow. Whew, he's laps down. Dang. He's sitting right behind him, but he's a few laps down. Never mind. Don't listen to me.
Yeah, really, he should be there if he wasn't stuck in the fence, and But actually, I want to say that the 25 of Zimmer was able to get back on the lead lap too. Who was? You went on board with him. He was the lucky dog, and he's going to be in the fight again. So, we might not have heard the last of that driver in the 25.
Here. Yeah, we got the 13, the 60. Askowich up into third. I mean, this is probably going to be the last chance they have at a green flag finish here. If they don't get it around this time, I will be taking the checkered flag under the caution, I believe.
Yeah, it's a very interesting the way that's played out.
Yeah, especially after the first half of this race was, long green flag run. Ever since that run, we've had a rough time trying to get back to green flag racing. We've had a few laps here and there, but not sure what it's been. If it's just been people have been pretty antsy, or if the field's just been pretty shuffled up tonight. But some pretty exciting moments. But I'm sure some of the drivers kind of frustrated tonight, not having too long of a green flag stint ever since that first one.
Yeah, you heard it from Alan Capers. He said the first half of the race was pretty good, and it's just been like kind of what happened. But either way, it has been extremely exciting. Really not lacking for crazy moments here and there. So definitely the last few laps of this race is going to be something to watch as well. Interesting that number 66 did not elect to come down pit road and take a faster period. It is quite beat up. There's a lot of damage on that machine. So, either way, he does still have the track position. Wasn't kicked to the back by iRacing for being involved in the wreck. So I guess if I was him, I don't blame him for doing that.
Yeah, I would think he's probably just banking on another caution on the restart, to be honest, which, to be truthful, like you said,
Not a bad strategy.
Not a bad strategy. If he wants a good finish tonight, he might get it, because we might have an early caution, but we'll see, because if we do go green, he is going to have a rough time keeping these cars behind him right there. So be a rough start if you're on the outside, because I'm not sure how down on power that car is going to be, but it is definitely banged up quite a bit.
Yeah, and definitely not good when you can see parts of the tires in a stock car. Definitely not a modified. You should do that, but you see the left front of that machine and the left rear a little bit too. So really, it did take a ride on that last restart, but we're gonna get back going green here for what might be the final time. We don't know yet. And, try to see if we can get some laps under green here. We haven't seen that too much in this last half of the race, but we'll see what we get. Definitely not, this race is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, so thank you, whatever that movie was that quote is from.
Forrest Gump?
Yeah, Forrest Gump. See, I always forget it. I don't know
That's
why.
definitely a top 5 for me.
I always remember that quote, but I just never remember the movie it's from, which is like weird because it's a legendary movie. But we'll see what we get on this restart. The pace car looking to dive off into the pit road, and yes, it does. Right, ooh,
great start by Lowhead. I don't think 13 got on the gas, but he let up. I don't know. Wow, I would have stayed on it if I was the 66 there, but there goes Paskowicz.
Yeah, we'll see some contact there through 1 and 2, almost, but
they're wrecking already.
98 spinning around in the backstretch.
And I think that might be it. Oh man, I can't believe the 66 let off. I mean, I know you're supposed to let the guy up front get to the line first, but I think, on a start that if he just doesn't get going, I feel like you're not going to get penalized for it. That might have cost him the race.
Yeah, definitely. That was a crazy restart. I'm not sure what happened to the 98. It's like there had to be contact there because that car just kind of never really was straight. And see here on the replay. Like the 4 of Nate Catilla got into him a little bit. Yes, he did, just ever so slightly. So unfortunate for Christopher Burbs. He was in a pretty good position, and now looks like he's probably going to be finishing the last car on the lead lap.
Now that I look back to it, I'm not sure if the 66 jumped the start or if the 13 missed the start. And that'll be interesting to talk about after the race to see what exactly happened there, because yeah, that was just that was interesting. That was probably the most interesting restart I've seen all night so far. I mean, maybe it'd be the last one.
Yeah, I went back and watched it myself. I want to say that the 66, he went as soon as the pace car went off, and that's not when the green comes out. So I think that would have been a jump. So he really kind of had to do what I think he had to do, it because he was going to get nabbed by race control for that, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right. I did go back and look at it as well, and he seemed to. I know the green flag doesn't come out too long after that pace car goes into pit road, but he seems like he went almost instantly. So, yeah, I guess the 66 probably had to let off there. At first, I thought the 13 missed it, but yeah, I think the 66 just.
But we have 3 laps to go right now, so I don't believe we're going to be going back green. And if we don't get the if we don't get the pace car lights off right now, which we don't, so that is going to be, yeah, that's your winner right there, Alan Capers. If he can make the next 2 laps under power, which I don't see why he wouldn't, he's going to be the winner of this race. So a absolutely insane race. That's the best way to put it. It's not even crazy. It's gotten into the realm of insanity.
Yeah, the guys that we saw run up front the whole first half of the race have just kind of disappeared, and I mean that's what you get. Once again, like I said, you don't hand the trophies out at halfway. So I mean this is a perfect example of it. I mean we have the 13 up front. I know the 7 was quick all night, but then we had the 17 behind him, and then the 4 stuck with it. So those top 4 right there. I mean 3 of those guys I hadn't really talked about much all night, but you know it's great to see them up front.
Yeah, definitely, and we talked to him a little bit. He said he was going for his first win, so he's going to get that tonight if he can run this last lap under caution.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, we could hear a little bit of frustration with Alan's voice during that interview. You could tell that he probably would prefer to get one of those wins under the green flag runs, but you're going to take them as they come. Nobody's really going to complain about winning a race under a rain out, or if there's way too many cautions, then you would have liked a win, still a win. So I'm sure he's going to celebrate just as much as he would the other way around.
Absolutely, and definitely is definitely a win is a win regardless of how you get it. And you really can't say that he backed into it, because he did have the speed all night, and he definitely was pretty good, just put himself in position, and unlike everyone else, didn't besides just flipping down the track that one time, which I don't believe was his fault, if I remember correctly. He ran a pretty good race, and then definitely is going to pay off with a win. He's crossing the line now, and indeed, that number 13 is going to be your winner tonight at the Milwaukee Mile. So put a mark in the record books for him. Get a little bit of a congratulatory, I don't know words very well, bump from that number 7 of Paskowicz. He's your second place finisher. And Fernando Matos, we talked about him a little bit, able to come across the line in the 3rd spot, equaling his best career finish in the SimPossible Racing League. So really cool to see that as well. But we're going to let these drivers kind of do what they want to do tonight, and kind of collect their thoughts. You see a lot of congratulatory bumps for that number 13 of Alan Capers, his first win in the SimPossible Racing League. So,
yeah, all around great night for him. Overcame a few instances where he was involved in a few wrecks, but ultimately hung in with it, timed everything right, and did what he was supposed to do, and the result of that tonight, I mean, he earned the win.
Gonna come down here and some celebratory burnouts, so burn them down. Really nice little spin turn right there. That's what I like to do. A very flashy way to do it, and looks like he definitely knows what he's doing as far as his burnouts are concerned. Really cool looking right there. So he's got to be happy as can be getting the car, getting that win, getting that monkey off his back per se. But we'll let everybody get their thoughts collect and get their kind of get out of the car and get everything situated before we get some interviews for you guys here in just a moment. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Milwaukee Mile. We've concluded tonight's event. Your winner tonight was Alan Capers, but before we get to him, we have our third place finisher tonight, Fernando Matos, coming home in the third position. And before I ask you a question, do you have a copy?
Yes, I got the copy.
All right, man. Well, you ran a very quiet race tonight. You weren't up there kind of fighting for the lead, but definitely stayed out of trouble. Kind of take us through your night in your own eyes.
Yeah, I mean, longer run to start. And then I think I ate my tires too much on that long run. But I kind of tried to save a bit after the first caution, and then it was just about trying to stay with the back and trying to stay out of trouble on restarts, which was hard to tonight, but it was very good racing.
Yeah, very, very good for you to get home in third position, and I do believe that does equal your best career finish in the SimPossible Racing League, so you are definitely looking up for that. But, next week we do go back to the trucks, as of course this is a split series, go to Atlanta. So how are you looking forward to that slick racetrack in those trucks?
I mean, it's my home race. I live in Atlanta. So I'm looking forward to putting a good show, even though it's not an easy track.
Definitely not. Atlanta is a very tough racetrack. I think tonight was as well, and you definitely showed that you have it figured out pretty well. But Fernando, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. We do thank you so much for talking to us.
Oh, by the way, a shout out.
Yeah. Just
happy birthday to my mom, whose birthday is Wednesday, and happy birthday to my aunt, whose birthday is today. So happy birthday to my mom, Christina, and my aunt, Fatima.
That's very awesome. Fernando, you got anyone else you want to shout out real quick before we let you go?
Just my friends watching, Max, my co-workers, and Andrew, Rob, Carl, Tony, and my co-workers, and my friends watching. Thank you, guys.
All right, Fernando. Well, we appreciate you talking to us, and congrats on your third place finish. And we hope to talk to you again next week, bud.
Same. See ya.
That was your third place finisher, Fernando Matos. Sounds pretty excited to be there, but I do believe that Kevin has caught up with the other Kevin, the second place finisher.
Yeah, Kevin Paskowitz, you got me? This is Kevin up in the booth.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Not too much. Good race out there for you tonight. I see you came home with the second place finish. Probably didn't go according to strategy from what I can collect. Can you give me some thoughts on how your race went tonight?
Yeah, actually, we my big thing was going off of what happened last week and how these guys have been doing in the series. I didn't think we'd have very many cautions. So after I had to pit and it took me a bit working my way back up to the front, I decided to short pit everyone when we were in our window, and of course as soon as I did, caution came out and it was kind of on from there. So but yeah, up and down night, but a lot of fun. Felt like I would have caught Alan there if we'd had another lap or so to run the race. But all in all, a lot of fun. Enjoy racing with these guys tons.
Yeah, it was good to see you work your way back up towards the front after a little mishap in the beginning. I know you started off with the pole, so you were quick. Are you looking forward to next week's race?
Yeah, every week here I really enjoy. So I think it's Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken, next week. I'll have to take a look. But yeah, Atlanta's always a fun track, regardless of the car. So we'll go in and see how we do next week.
Yeah, hopefully you can carry some of that momentum that you had tonight with that second place finish and follow it up with another strong finish at Atlanta. I know you might have some shout outs. Are there any that you'd like to get out today?
I just have to, of course, you guys 3 White TV for doing everything. Of course, you, man, for stepping in tonight, helping out. But other than that, just my teammates at Phenomenal Evolution Motorsports, of course, and PH Aware and Actelion Pharmaceuticals and their Pathway program that we carry on the side of most of our cars. So really happy that they kind of allow us to do what we do, and we work for awareness, so getting the word out there. And of course my lovely wife Karen, who tolerates me immensely all the time. I love her.
Awesome. Those sound like Those sound like some great shout outs tonight. You did a great job. Always exciting to watch you guys, and I was happy to fill in. So great race. I look forward to watching you guys at Atlanta, and I'll swing it back over to Cam, who I believe will be with our first place finisher.
All right, thank you, guys.
Alrighty, Cam, you over there with the first place finisher?
Yeah, I got him right here, and he's already pretty liquored up. So, Alan Capers, this is Cam Rich up in the booth. You got a copy?
Woo! Hell yeah!
Yeah, I think we just got our confirmation right there. But either way, you got the win. You got the kazoos tonight for you. Good run on your part. Definitely did not luck into that one. You were up there all night and just stayed out of trouble. Take us through that whole race in your eyes.
Man, there's no way I would have won this race if Travis and whoever that was didn't get together. That's the bottom line. Travis had a fast ride tonight, and I'd much rather be lucky than good.
Absolutely, and we saw that really the top two drivers tonight would be Travis and Kyle Zimmer. Both gotten some issues, but you were right there to capitalize on their not really mistakes, but just getting involved in incidents. And really, that was a tale of two races, like you said. And when we interviewed you the first time, it went green the first half, and really just caution-filled parade the second half, but you were able to capitalize on that win, and I gotta think that you are pretty happy. This is your first win, right?
Yes, sir. With SimPossible, it is.
All right.
64th or 65th total, though.
All right, man. Well, definitely congratulations on that. And the next week, we do go back to the trucks. Of course, this is being a split series. And Atlanta Motor Speedway, a tough track in its own right. How are you looking forward to that event?
It's slick, but it's got banking, so we're good. I can dirt track it around there if I need to. So basically, the fuse has been lit, man. This is one of those things that I've been wanting for a minute. These guys, I tell you what, it is ridiculous how hard these guys run, and the brotherhood that goes on. I wish that you guys could hear it, but there's no way that the FCC would allow us. But I look forward to this stuff every week. You guys make it possible. And Cameron, dude, you do such a killer job. Los, I love you, buddy. And, thank you for doing what you guys do and giving us this opportunity to, have a stage, man. This is awesome.
Absolutely. And, we appreciate the kind words up here in the booth. We love watching them each every week and watching you guys do what you do. But before we let you go and go celebrate, we know you probably got some more shout outs for us and kind of just people that, help you do the stuff you do and people you just want to say thanks to.
Yeah, I got to start with Jennifer, my wife. Our anniversary was this week, 23 years together. She didn't let me do this. If mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. I got to thank Next Level Racing for supplying me with the cockpit and Thrustmaster equipment. It has changed everything. You guys are Renee, I love you. Let's see. Billy, thank you for the paint, buddy. You did an awesome job. Jeff, I can't even come up with the words. You make me speechless, and that's pretty damn hard to do. But Cameron, you do a great job, and thank you for doing this. Los, again, thank you for doing what you do, and I appreciate it. And it was great to get my first win with these guys, and it's just one of many to come.
Absolutely. Definitely the first one is the hardest, and they start coming a lot easier after that. But Alan, we'll let you go celebrate, go down some beers if you want to do whatever you do. Maybe some questionable things, but appreciate you talking to us, and go celebrate, bud. You earned it.
Hey, I gotta give Wesley Lee a shout out real quick, man. He's always here in here pulling for me. Thank you, buddy. I was about to give out a side joke. Brutal West, he rose on PS4, man. But thank you guys, and we'll see y'all next week.
All right, that was Alan Capers, your winner tonight. Definitely gonna go celebrate and do some questionable things here in just a bit. But I've caught up here with Jeff Schmidt, the dude himself, maybe the dude Lebowski. We'll see about that. But Jeff, you got a copy?
I got you, buddy. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty well. That was a tale of two races right there. It went green quite a long time, and then it just kind of got crazy, and that was a race for sure.
It was, man. The green flag runs were great, of course. I think as soon as those guys realized, hey, the laps are counting down, we need to make something happen. They tried to make something happen, no doubt about it. Whether it worked or not, we'll put that up in the air. But unfortunate for a couple of the leaders like Kyle Zimmer and Travis Udema that really led most of this race today, having bad luck later on. That's too bad. But racing is racing, and racing is attrition, so you can't ever give up. You can't ever think that you won't win. You can't ever think that you are going to win, because you never know what's going to happen. So a track like tonight, Milwaukee Mile, very low banked mile track, very fun to race at. The guys had a blast tonight. Very successful race in our eyes as far as everyone having a good time. But yeah, you just never know what's going to happen. And those guys that thought that they were going to win the race did not even come close. So, attrition stands strong, and you have to be in it to win it the whole time. You can't just think that that leading the most laps or leading close to the most is going to make you anywhere, because that wasn't the case tonight.
And absolutely, that's why we run these races and give the trophies out after all the laps are complete and not after qualifying. Really, that's kind of something that you always got to say, because things do happen. And I believe the great Murray Walker once said, "Anything can happen, and it usually does." But before we let you go, Jeff, I know Carlos has to get going to his race here in just a moment. We're going to give you a chance to give some shout-outs. We got you have a lot of people that you want to thank that make this league go round and round and keep going strong.
Absolutely, and we'll be quick about it here. And I apologize for taking too long of your guys' time. I know Carlos has some stuff to do here, and so. First off, thank you guys in the 3 Wide TV booth. You guys have done a tremendous job for us all year long. Ever since we started, you guys been awesome. Carlos contacted me right away and said, "Hey, we'd like to broadcast for you," because he believed in the actual idea of what we were doing, and not so much the idea of trying to profit off of this or that or make something big in his name or whatnot. He did it for the right reasons. So, Carlos, God bless you, and I truly appreciate what you've done. And Cameron and everyone else at 3 Wide that has helped us, thank you very much. The drivers, their friends, and their families, most importantly, their families that help them out with day-to-day activities. Being it is a all-disabled league, some guys have some troubles here and there with different things, and their families are their caretakers and helpers, and God bless them. And very thankful for their families to help them out, to be able to allow them out the opportunity to race with us. So very cool, very cool. If you're interested in being a sponsor in any of our series, contact me. We have a Twitter, Facebook, and email. SimPossibleRacing@gmail.com is a good way to get a hold of us. Thank you for Kevin to step up to help broadcast tonight, and usually a spotter for AJ Digby. Very cool of Kevin. He's an awesome guy. You guys, I'm sure, have seen that tonight. And everyone have an awesome night. And thank you very much for everything. We see you guys out there, and we are truly blessed to have the following that we do, and the broadcasts that we do, and the awesome drivers that we do. Very happy.
I appreciate the kind words each and every week, Jeff, and it's always a pleasure to talk to you. But we love this league, and we love to be a part of it. And I think I can speak for myself and everyone else at 3 Wide TV for that. But we'll get this going, wrapped up pretty quick here. We have some results for you. We have your winner tonight, Alan Capers, in the number 13 machine, finally capturing his first win of his SimPossible career. And I believe should have the results here. Kevin Paskovich coming home in second. Was a little bit off the mark tonight, but it's okay.
Yeah,
we still.
Fernando Matos in place, Nick Attila in fourth.
Yeah, what a crazy result. Billy Wise there in fifth. He took a few rides tonight. AJ Digby coming home sixth. Kyle Zimmer seventh. Chris Verge eighth. Brian Lowhead ninth. Travis Zuma got stuck in the fence, but was able to get a couple of his laps back, coming home in 10th. And Johnny Berardi had got a couple of his laps back too as well. So that is your split series results from Milwaukee. That's all we have for you tonight. We're going to get going here pretty soon. From myself and from Kevin for stepping up tonight, we do appreciate that very much. We want to give a shout out to all the chatters in chat, all the viewers that watch us live and the replays. We appreciate that, all of everything. We appreciate the friends and family of the SimPossible Racing League for supporting us. But really, that's all we got for you tonight. So we hope you guys have a good night and definitely stay awesome.